okay, which we generally we download. And just a second. Okay, so GSTR-2B is basically ITC statement which we download from the portal, so that we can make a reconciliation with our purchase data. Okay, uh, so we are covering these two topics today, and in the coming Saturday we are going to cover GSTR-3B, and the coming session is also linked with the that GSTR-2B. We cover uh, some of the part of the GSTR-2B in the next session. ओके, तो आज का जो टॉपिक है वो हमारा GSTR-1 और GSTR-2B के रिलेटेड है। GSTR-1 जो है वो एक रिटर्न है जिसमें हम अपनी आउटपुट सप्लाई की डिटेल्स जो है वो सबमिट करते हैं, ठीक है। और 2B है जिसमें हमारे जो भी हमने बाइक पर परचेज किया उसका सारा डिटेल्स आता है 2B में, और हम जनरली फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ फाइलिंग अवर GSTR-3B वी टेक दैट GSTR-2B in consideration and we match our data with the 2B, because the government has mandated that you can claim only that ITC which is available on the GSTR-2B. Okay, so just a brief thing which we are going to cover, that GSTR-1 return. The focus is only on the filing of the GSTR-1 return rather than on explaining the complexity of that topics. Okay, we are just we are in that way that a fresher or a new beginner who can start a GST practice or who wants to file the GST ITR along with some of the columns of the GSTR-1, just to explain that what data is to be entered at what table, okay, and how to validate this data. And if there are some person who might be not using any type of software, they are only dependent upon the government utility, or if the person has very less number of clients, so how he can just do the filing on the basis of the government utility available. So there might be a case that the person is having a less number of clients, so he's generally using either the government utility or direct online invoice data entry. So these are the two modes available to that person. And if he is having a large number of clients, or some person, or there may be some cases where the person is using some type of private software. There are large number of software available in the market who provides services for that filing of GSTR-1. Like there is some software like Smart GST, Smart GST, and then that Spectrum GST software is there, and many other software also there which provide these survey which offer you a software where you can just upload the data and submit the return. Okay, and in the 2B I have already told that the 2B is with regard to the ITC detail, and reconciliation we are going to cover with the how to consider it with the purchase invoice. ओके, सो GSTR-1 में हम फाइलिंग के रिगार्डिंग यही कवर करेंगे कि हम ऑफलाइन मोड और ऑनलाइन मोड में कैसे करेंगे, और साथ में जो प्राइवेट सॉफ्टवेयर वगैरह यूज करके कैसे फाइलिंग करनी है, और साथ में 2B कवर करेंगे. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ that what is the due date of filing of GSTR return. So let me first clear with the what is GSTR-1. GSTR-1 is basically basically return of outward supply, and it is also known as it is also called as a statement, which is covered under section 37 of the GST Act. ओके, सो GSTR-1 जो है वो फर्स्ट रिटर्न है जिसमें जो भी डाटा है जाना है परचेज सेल्स का रिगार्डिंग, ठीक है। जो भी एसएससी ने ड्यूरिंग द मंथ सेल की है उसका डाटा GSTR-1 में जाएगा, ठीक है। और GSTR-1 फाइल करने के लिए सेक्शन 37 में प्रोविजन दे रखी हैं जिसमें फाइलिंग होनी है, ओके, विद रिगार्ड टू द आउटवर्ड सप्लाई. तो ड्यू डेट दैट द ड्यू डेट्स ऑफ फाइलिंग द GSTR-1 रिटर्न इज बेसिकली व्हेन यू हैव अ GSTR-1 रिटर्न and you are filing it on a monthly basis, then the date is 11th of the following month. So like in the current month we are filing the GST return for the month of August 2024. Okay, so the last date for filing of GSTR-1 monthly return is of 11th September 2024. Okay, so in case a person is opted for the IFF facility, or you can say if a person is filing his GST return under the QRMP scheme, which is a quarterly return filing, okay, then he can use that scheme. Okay, and the filing of return will be in his case will be of that he can file return only at the end of the quarter, but the government in the recent past has allowed a facility of IFF. Okay, why this facility is introduced and why this thing is that suppose you have purchase some goods from a supplier, okay, and that supplier is opting or supplier is filing a GST return on a quarterly basis, okay. And now when the government have mandated for claiming the GSTR purchase ITC, they have mandated that you can claim ITC only when it is reflected in your form GSTR 2B. तो गवर्नमेंट ने ये मैंडेट किया है ओके कि जब तक परचेज आपके 2B में नहीं बोलेगी आईटीसी, तब तक आप उसका इनपुट नहीं ले सकते, ओके। तो अभी हो क्या रहा था कि जो लोग तो क्वार्टरली रिटर्न भर रहे थे, अभी उन्होंने तो रिटर्न भरनी है आफ्टर द एंड ऑफ द क्वार्टर, ओके। तो जो बाय कर रहे थे उनको ये दिक्कत हो रही थी कि उनको परचेज के इनवॉइस 2B में नहीं दिखते थे। तो गवर्नमेंट ने उस केस में क्या किया कि गवर्नमेंट दे हैव started a facility which is called IFF, which is a invoice furnishing facility under the KORMP scheme, which is when like if you have made 10 sales invoice during the month, okay, and you have opted for the KORMP scheme, which is available on the basis of the turnover criteria, that you have a turnover of less than that amount, okay, then you need to file. You can have the option of filing the GSTR return on a quarterly basis, okay. And once that KORMP scheme is opted, it will not change for the future period uh, other than when you manually change it, okay. So in that case IFF, we can use IFF and file the purchase and file the sales invoice, so that the person who is buying from us will be able to claim the ITC in the 3B, okay. So the date is 13th of the following month, okay. So it means that after that after the, if I talk about the GSTR1, so GSTR can be filed, GSTR1 can be filed even after the 11th of the following month, but the person who is getting the purchase will not be able to claim the ITC in the same month, okay. But in case of IFF, after 13th of the following month, it will not be available to file the KORMP. That IFF facility will expire and it will not be available for filing. Okay, so these are the two due dates which is relevant only for the purpose of GSTR1. I have not compiled all other due dates because this is only two relevant dates. So 11th of the following month, and if we are using KORMP and IFF facility, then 13th of the following month. Okay, so there are some cases basically when you are not you are not allowed or debar from the filing of GSTR1 or IFF as per rule 59.6. तो रूल 59.6 क्या कहता है कि अगर इसमें से आपने कोई भी सर्कमस्टांस आपके केस में हिट होता है, तो उस केस में आपको हम अलाउ नहीं करेंगे कि आप जो है वो GSTR रिटर्न आपको फाइलिंग वाली फैसिलिटी जो है वो अलाउड नहीं होगी, ओके। तो वो कौन से सर्कमस्टांसेस है जिस केस में डिपार्टमेंट ने ये आपको प्रोविजन दे रखी है कि आप नहीं फाइल कर सकते, ठीक है। उसमें जो एक है कि पर्सन ऑप्टिंग फॉर मंथली फाइलिंग ऑफ GSTR1, ओके। अगर किसी ने मंथली फाइलिंग ऑप्ट की हुई है, ठीक है, तो उस केस में अगर उसने लास्ट मंथ की 3B फाइल नहीं किया, लाइक सपोज इफ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द GSTR1 of that of August 2024, okay, and if a person has not filed the that GSTR for the GSTR 3B for the month of July 2024, then the government has restricted that person that you cannot file the GSTR1 for the month of August unless you file the GSTR 3B for the month of July 2024. So government ne actually what is happening there, the person is actually filing the GSTR1 on each month, okay, allowing the corresponding purchasing party to take the ITC benefit, okay. But once the government amended the section of ITC, which is around, I think, 16 section, the government has mandated that till the person has not paid the tax amount in the 3B, he will not the person who is purchasing the goods from that supplier will not be able to claim the ITC, okay. तो उसमें क्या हो रहा था कि गवर्नमेंट ने उसमें मैंडेट कर दिया कि जब तक सामने वाला पर्सन अपने 3B में वो टैक्स जमा नहीं कराता, आप उसका ITC नहीं ले सकते. आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू द दैट complexity of the section 16, how when the ITC will be available, what are the conditions for that, when it will be fully available, when it is available in the next month, okay. So that government has mandated that that person is filing the GSTR1 without filing the GSTR 3B. So they have amended the provisions of so they have amended the condition that you need to just file the 3B first. Only then you will be able to. Just a second. Okay, so basically, हमें जो मंथ एक नॉर्मल टैक्स पेयर, नॉर्मल टैक्सेबल पर्सन के केस में हम दो तरह की आईटीआर फाइल, दो तरह के जीएसटी रिटर्न फाइल करते हैं, GSTR-1 एंड GSTR-3B. Okay, so the GSTR-1 is filed for the sales invoice. Whenever we sold some goods during the month or during the quarter, we will file an ITR, we will file a GSTR return, GSTR-1, where we report our outward supply. Okay, जिसमें हम अपने जो भी सेल्स के बिल होंगे सबका डाटा एंटर करेंगे. Okay, and then after filing of GSTR-1 on the 11th of 13th of the succeeding month, then we need to file a GSTR-3B, which is basically a monthly return where we report our sales and taxes and claim ITC. ओके, तो 3B में हम अपने सेल्स की जो भी टैक्स लायबिलिटी है वो रिपोर्ट करते हैं, उसके अगेंस्ट जो भी हमने परचेज किया है उसका जो भी ITC है वी विल रिपोर्ट दैट, एंड वट एवर द टैक्स लायबिलिटी इज देयर वी विल पे दैट. ओके, तो टैक्स जो हमने पे करना है वो 3B में ही पे करना है, आइदर थ्रू द इनपुट क्रेडिट लेजर और बाय कैश और बैंक अकाउंट. ओके, तो 3B एक रिटर्न है जिसमें हम अपनी टैक्स की लायबिलिटी को सेट ऑफ करते हैं. Okay, so now that is 3B, which is the due date for 3B is 20th of the succeeding month, or in case of quarter, that is the 20th of the end of the quarter. And maybe in different state there might be some different dates, 20, 22, 24th. I will cover that in the next session. Okay, so उसमें क्या हो रहा था कि पर्सन जो है वो GSTR-1 फाइल कर रहा था और सामने वाली पार्टी उसका इनपुट क्रेडिट भी ले रही थी, लेकिन क्या है कि टैक्स एक्चुअल में जमा ही नहीं हो रहा था 3B में, बिकॉज ये that person is not filing the GSTR-3B regularly. So the government has mandated that if you have not filed the GSTR-3B for the preceding month, you are not allowed to file the GSTR-1 as per Rule 59.6. Okay, now the person opting for the quarterly filing of GSTR-1 or the invoice furnishing facility, when he is not allowed to file that either the IFF or GSTR-1 on a quarterly basis, if he has not filed the GSTR-3B return for the preceding quarter. ओके, तो अगर उसने प्रीसीडिंग क्वार्टर में भी सिमिलर सिचुएशन में अगर उसने क्वार्टरली अगर उसने ऑप्ट किया हुआ है एंड ही हैज नॉट डिपॉजिटिंग द टैक्स टू द गवर्नमेंट, ओके, देन अगेन इन दैट केस he is not allowed to file the GSTR on a quarterly basis and GSTR-1 of the quarter, and if he is using the IF facility, then he is not allowed to file the IFF till he filed the GSTR-3B for the previous quarter. The government has mandated this only to make sure that the tax will be deposited to the government on a regular basis. Okay. Then there are two other clauses. I'm not going into the detail of that. That intimation issued under Rule 88C(1) and 88D(1). So there are two circumstances when there might be a difference of a tax liability as per GSTR-1 and as per GSTR-3B. Then you need to first deposit that tax. Only then or either you might file a appropriate reply that why you are not need to deposit the tax. Only then you are allowed to file a GSTR-1 of that current period. And again, the same month of 88D(1), if you have raised any type of, you have claimed any excess ITC in your return, that the government has issued you a notice either in DRC-01 or in other situation, then in that case you need to first make that payment of ITC, or you need to file an appropriate reply to the department, and only then you will be allowed to file a GSTR of the quarter of the current month. So these are the four cases. There is one additional more case which is recently added of not adding to the bank account in the after taking a GST registration, which we have already explained in the yesterday session. If a person has recently taken a GST number and if he has not added to the bank account, then he apart from cancelling GST number, the department has also restricted such person to cannot file the GSTR return for the current month. Okay, so these are the situations when the department has restricted you to not file the GSTR-1 till you have set off your liability. तो ये वो सिचुएशन है जिसमें डिपार्टमेंट आपको अलाउ नहीं करेगा, या जब आप फाइल करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो पोर्टल वहाँ पे आपको GSTR-1 फाइल ही नहीं करने देगा, क्योंकि आपने प्रीवियस मंथ की GSTR-3B नहीं भरी है या क्वार्टरली नहीं भरी है, या आपने कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग जो आपका डिफरेंस आ रहा था आपने वो टैक्स नहीं जमा कराया, या आपने एक्सेस ITC लिया था और आपको नोटिस आया, या आपने कोई रिप्लाई नहीं फाइल किया. Okay, so now moving on to the main part of filing of GSTR return. So this is the home page we have already discussed yesterday. The first page which appears when we go to the gst.gov.in portal. So ये सबसे पहले जो पेज आएगा वो यही है. Then now we need to start the filing through the login option. Okay, so once we click on the login option, then this screen will appear. जब भी हम लॉगिन पे क्लिक करेंगे तो हमें ये स्क्रीन दिखने को मिलेगी जिसमें वी नीड टू एंटर द यूजर नेम विच वी हैव क्रिएटेड एट द टाइम व्हेन वी अलॉटेड द GST नंबर. द डिपार्टमेंट आस्क अस टू ask us to make a username and password. So we will use that username and password and add the captcha, and then we will be able to load onto the first screen of the that GST portal. सो आफ्टर लॉगिन हमें ये स्क्रीन फर्स्ट स्क्रीन जो दिखेगी पोर्टल पे वो ये स्क्रीन होगी. देन यू कैन सी दैट मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस आर अवेलेबल देयर. इवन द last filed return will also be there. You will also be able to see that if the person has filed last month GSTR-3B or not. Okay, so in this case the person has filed GSTR-3B till the month of July 2024 and is yet to file August for the month of August, which is a deadline is of 11th of September. Okay, and you can see that the return filing preference you can see is of a monthly. You can change it that, but depending upon the depending upon the situation, whether you fall into the criteria of KYRMP scheme, which is on a basis of the turnover basis, that when you have a turnover less than that particular amount, you can opt for the KYRMP scheme. Okay. Okay, so now if you are in a we are assuming that now you need to start a filing of your one of your client. I have taken example of a private limited company. Okay, suppose you are now going to file a GSTR1 of a person, okay, who is opted for the GSTR on a monthly basis. Okay, then you need to go onto the services tab, and then there is an option of that return option is the third option. Okay, then you need to click on the return dashboard option. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to do if you are want to file the GSTR1 for the month of August 2024. You need to log in, and then you need to just click on that and then go move on to the return dashboard. So सबसे पहले आपको यही करना है. लॉगिन करने के बाद जो पेज आएगा आपको रिटर्न में जाना है, रिटर्न डैशबोर्ड पे क्लिक करना है, एंड देन द नेक्स्ट स्क्रीन विल अपीयर इज ऑफ दैट. ओके, इस तरह की कुछ स्क्रीन दिखेगी जिसपे आपको पूछा जाएगा कि फाइनेंशियल ईयर ये है और क्वार्टर since the quarter is running of second quarter, which is July to September, and then you need to choose the option for which you are wants to file. See, the GSTR return can be filed for the previous period also. If you have not filed the GSTR for the previous month, then it can be filed today also. Okay, and the maximum time period within which you can file the GSTR return is within 3 years from the due date. Okay, suppose you have not filed GSTR for the full year, for the full last year, you can still file the GSTR 3B for in the current year. Okay, it is allowed there. The government has given a maximum time period for that. Yesterday some person has also raised a query that he has not filed the GSTR1 for the previous or 3B also. तो उस केस में उसके पास ऑप्शन है वो फाइल कर सकता है, बट ओनली GSTR1 नॉट IFF. ओके, बिकॉज IFF जो ऑप्शन है वो एक्सपायर हो जाएगी आफ्टर द एंड ऑफ द 13th ऑफ सक्सीडिंग मंथ. Okay, just give me a second. I need to just take one call. Okay, so now we are discussing that we need to choose a month for which we are going to file the GSTR1 return. Okay, so the time period is now is for the month of August 2024, and we are taking a case of that we are going to file a live return on the basis of the slide I have enclosed there. Okay, so now I have chosen the financial year and then the quarter, that is July to September, which because of our corresponding month falls into this quarter, we can all change that also, and even the financial year also if we are going to file, if we are filing the return for the previous period. Okay, so यहाँ पे हमने अगस्त choose कर लिया, then we need to click on that search option. Once we click on that, then the next screen will appear is like of that. Okay, so here you can see that once you choose an option of August, you will find the 4 tables are there. 4 options are there, basically GSTR1, and then the auto drafted 2A and 2B and 3B. We are only need to discuss today of GSTR1 and 2B, and the 3B we will going to touch in the next session. So now coming on to the GSTR1, you can find that the details of outward supply of goods or services GSTR1. It means that the GSTR1 is in relation to the that filing of your monthly sales of goods or services. Okay, और यही वो रिटर्न है जिससे कि सामने वाली पार्टी को ITC मिलेगा, बिकॉज द डाटा ऑफ दिस रिटर्न विल बी गेट ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड इन द GSTR-2A और 2B. ओके, तो GSTR1 हमने बहुत देख के भरनी है और कोशिश करनी कि उसमें कोई एरर ना हो, बिकॉज वंस यू हैव मेड द फाइल दिस रिटर्न इट कैन नॉट बी एडिटेड. देयर आर सम अदर option the government has recently included there, but we just need to file the GSTR1 properly. If we are filing, there are multiple options are there how you get the data. So now we are going to file the GSTR1. Okay, so there are 2 options. You can see that one option is of prepare online, and then the second is of prepare offline. Okay, so just let me just quickly tell you that prepare online and offline, what is the difference is that. So prepare online is that once you click on that, then there will be a window open in the next screen, and you will be able to add your invoices of 4A 4B table, and then you will add the HSN detail and the invoice, and then of document detail. You will be able to create that. And then second option is prepare offline. So we will take it on a single. So let's start with the prepare offline method. So now the GST return filing, selecting prepare offline. So we are now first trying to prepare the GSTR1 through the offline mode. So once we click on that offline mode, the next screen will appear is of this type of. Okay, so you can see that there is option is coming of offline upload and download for GSTR1. Okay, so upload is there, option is available, you can upload the data. So the file can be uploaded here is of JSON file. Okay, you need to prepare a JSON file and then upload. तो JSON फाइल क्या है, बेसिकली JSON एक ऐसी फाइल है कि जो कि डिपार्टमेंट में GSTR1 अपलोड करने के लिए हमें यूज होती है. Okay, so sometime if you are suppose you are not using any type of software, okay, and you have a very less number of clients, that it is not required to purchase a software and fill that return. Generally people will manage this in the offline utility. Okay, if you are having 8 to 10 clients or maybe more than 10 clients, then still you feel that it will be high cost to file through the software rather than filing through the manual basis. Okay, then in that case you need to opt for that offline data option. Okay, and then there is one option of choose file. So the file which can be chosen here is of that JSON file. Okay, so now moving on to the next slide. See, I have told you that JSON file we need to upload here, and if and I'm assuming that you are not having any type of software. So and then in that case, how you would prepare that JSON file? Okay, so the government has given you a uh, some offline tool from where you can create the GSTR1 JSON file. So for that you need to go on to the GSTR .gov.in. Okay, then go on to the download option. You can see that download option, and below the download option there is a return offline tool option is there. Okay, so you go on to the gst.gov.in and then go on to the download button, and then go on to the return offline tool. So once you click on that link, that of return offline tool, you will be able to find this screen on your you will be able to find this on your screen, which is return offline tool. The option is GSTR1 tool, and the download button is available here. So once you click on that, you will be able to download a setup file from the portal, and once you extract that file, and you will download that file, and once you extract that file, then this thing will appear on your screen. You will be able to see that there is one tool called GST offline tool.exe. You need to just install this tool on your PC. Okay, once you install that, then this will, and you open that tool, then this screen will appear. Okay, so I am now doing on offline government utility, which is provided by the government, and you have now downloaded that utility and you have extracted that utility, and now I am on the page of that of offline GSTR1 utility. Okay, so the information required here is you need to mention that I am filing for GSTR1 or IFF. Okay, then we need to enter the GSTN of the supplier, and then the financial year for which we are filing the ITR, again the tax period. तो ये हमने डाउनलोड करनी है. डाउनलोड होने के बाद हमें कुछ बेसिक पर्टिकुलर्स इसमें डालने हैं ताकि हम आगे फर्दर स्क्रीन में पहुंच सकें. So we need to enter the financial year and the tax period. Then is asking whether you are is an SEZ taxpayer. SEZ basically is an export unit. Okay, so now the next option is that of is taxpayer quarterly filer. If he is using the KORMP scheme, then he need to select KORMP. Then otherwise he moves on to the no option. Okay, so if he is filing for the quarterly, then we need to use it as a quarterly option. Otherwise yes, then otherwise in case of no. तो मैं इस किसके में जिसका फाइल कर रहा हूँ, it is a monthly return filer. Okay, then the next option is the aggregate turnover greater than 5 crore in the preceding financial year? Yes, no. So in my case, the person is having a less than 5 crore turnover, so it will be option is of no. Okay, then we need to click on that proceed option. Once we click on proceed option, it will validate the whatever data we have entered there. Okay, then there will be we click on that yes option, and once we click on that, the next screen will appear is that of this screen. Okay, which is a there are options that of import files, delete all data, clear section, and the view summary. Okay, so you can just if you want to add that invoices on a single basis, you can add the invoice on a individual basis. Okay, तो आपको basically करना क्या है, that you need to take sales invoice data from your party if he's managing books of account on a manual basis, like if he is using the sales bill file. ओके, तो अगर उसने सेल्स बिल वाली फाइल लगा बुकलेट लगा रखी है और वो मैनुअली बिल काट रहा है, देन यू नीड टू टेक दी सेल्स इनवॉइस विच इज फॉर द पीरियड ऑफ अगस्त, फ्रॉम 1 अगस्त टू 31 अगस्त. ओके, तो आपको वो सारे बिल लेने, एंड इफ इज मैनेजिंग द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट ऑन अ कंप्यूटराइज्ड डाटा, देन you need to take up sales data from that client if you are making manually. And if that person is making from some type of software data entry, then there might be option that software will generate a Excel file from the software itself for the GSTR1. ओके, तो हो सकता है कि आपको GSTR1 की एक्सेल फाइल मिल जाए वहां से. अगर कोई मैनुअल है और उसके पास और छोटा क्लाइंट है और जो कि सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं यूज करता, तो देन ही माइट बी गिवन, he will share you a images file of the sales which he has done in the month of August. तो आपके पास दोनों सिचुएशन that you can add the data on an individual basis, like there is available that you need to enter the GSTN of receiver, then receiver name, then invoice number, invoice date, invoice value, place of supply, and at the last there will be option of add. Once you click on add, then the next row will appear and you will need to add the data in this manner. Okay, and if you are having the Excel file from that of your client, then you can use that Excel file. Okay, so now here I am using the Excel file. Okay, so now I click on that of import file tab which I have just mentioned here. I just need to click on import file tab. Then when I click on that, then the next screen will appear is that of this way. Okay, so now here he is asking for import Excel. Once I click on that import Excel, then he open a window where we need to just upload the Excel file which the accountant might have given you, or you might have himself generated the same file if you are also managing the books account of the same client. Okay, तो अगर आप ही उनकी बुक्स लिख रहे हैं तो उस केस में आप खुद ही भी वो फाइल जनरेट कर सकते हैं. अगर if a person or if a accountant is managing the books of account of your client, then he can share you the Excel file of the GSTR1 generated from the accounting software. Okay, so now you need to and one more thing, suppose if you are not having not even he is using the that manual bill book, and he's creating the sales bill on a manual bill book, and he gives you a bills for that, and there may be a case that the number of bills are quite higher, you need to add a single bills here. Then you can use a government template. I can just show you how to use that government template. It is there. Okay, so if you don't want to add a invoice on a single basis, then you can just download the there is one option. Let me just see whether it is available on the portal. There might be offline too. I just use that other option. I will share you that Excel template which is of now 1.8 version. You can use that version just to add an invoice in a direct Excel file, and you can just import that Excel file directly here. Okay, if you are not provided by your accountant, or you are not able to generate by yourself, or it is not available in your accounting software, I am assuming there you are getting the Excel file from the accounting software, and you just need to upload that. You click on that import Excel, and then you just need to upload that Excel file. Once you upload that Excel file, then the next screen will appear is like of this way. Okay, you will directly taken to the summary tab by the offline utility. You will see this. Okay, so here you can see that the data is imported by the utility from the Excel file. So he has imported the B2B invoice, he has imported the B2C invoice, then the credit and debit note, and then the HSN detail. Okay, so there might be a case that these are the data available in that GSTR1 which Excel file which I have imported here. So if you want to see you here, you can see that the number of invoices is 5, and the total liability on IGST this amount and this, and if there is CGST SGST then you can also find the figure here. ठीक है, तो इस केस में आपने देखा कि यहाँ पे जो भी डाटा इंपोर्ट हुआ है वो विद रिगार्ड टू दिस हुआ है और उसके रिगार्डिंग जो भी टैक्स लायबिलिटी यहाँ पे रिफ्लेक्ट हो रही है. एंड इफ यू वांट टू सी द डिटेल्स ऑफ दिस, लाइक इफ यू क्लिक ऑन दैट B2B, then it will go to this screen. Okay, so here you can see that the data of that individual invoices, you can see that, and if you are wants to check, or you can cross check the data, you can just simply match the one or two invoices just to make sure that the data is correctly imported in the offline utility. आपको करना क्या है कि आपको जो भी सेल्स इनवॉइस आपके पास आए हैं, आइदर इन दी एक्सेल में आए हैं या आपको मैनुअल आए हैं, आपने एक तो इनवॉइस वैसे फिजिकली टैली कर लेने हैं कि वो सब जो इनवॉइस हैं, वो जो डाटा है यहाँ पे यूटिलिटी में हमने इंपोर्ट किया वो सारा मैच हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. लाइक जस्ट टू टेक द जीएसटी नंबर, invoice date, invoice number, and the amount of taxable value, and then the GST value, and then the total taxable value. So the data will be imported on the basis of the Excel file. Whatever data is there in the Excel, he will the utility will import the data. Okay, so the data which can be imported here, all these types of data can be imported here. Okay, so if there is any error, you can delete all data and import that Excel file again by correcting the error which is there. Okay, and even you can clear section data. You can clear, like section means here you can clear the data section wise. Like if you only want to clear the data of B2B, then you can clear the data of B2B only. Okay, and if you want to delete the data of B2C only, you can delete the data of B2C, clear the data of B2C only. So the government have given a proper utility. You can use it. It is a very helpful utility if you are not able to purchase the costly software. Okay, and also the renewal fees on annual basis. Okay, so now if you are satisfied with the data and it is everything okay as per the invoice given by the party, and or even the Excel, if you're okay with that, then you just need to click on the view summary tab again. Once you click on that view summary tab again, it will take you to this screen, back to this screen. Okay, so this is the screen which gives you the summary of your that GSTR1, that what are the things which is there in the Excel file, or what are the data you have inputted in the utility. So now you need to create a JSON file. So we need to create a JSON file. So for that we need to click on that of generate file. Okay, so once I click on that generate file, the next screen will appear is of that. So here you can see that you have generated the JSON file. Following have been generated, and you need to download that file because we need to upload that JSON file on the portal. Okay, so यहाँ से हमारी JSON file बन चुकी है. Then we need to just download the JSON file, and here you can see that the R1 is means of that of GSTR1. Okay, so now when we click on that offline JSON link, then the next screen will appear of this type. Do you want to open or save this file? Okay, so we generally save this file because we need to upload that file directly on the portal. So once we click on that of save button, so that download will complete, and you will be asked to where to save that file, and wherever you want to save that, you can use that that tab to just upload the file. Okay, so I think I hope that this part of that using the offline utility will be very helpful to you, because this is a free of cost online tool available where you can just upload the Excel file if it is provided by your accountant. And if you are not able to do that, you can just download that, or I will share you the Excel utility. Okay, you will add that invoice directly on that Excel template, and once you add that, then you will be able to again generate the JSON file, which you can able to upload on the portal. So now we are ready with the JSON file which we have just created through this account, that offline utility. Okay, so now going back to that of GST portal. Okay, so now you need to choose that of choose file option. You need to click on that choose file option. Once you click on that choose file option, you will be able to upload that JSON file which is we have just created from the offline utility. Okay, once I upload that file here, then you can see that the date is that I have uploaded this return is on 7th of September at 7 to 28, and it will take the status as in progress. The department have given you just information that the validation process may take up to 15 minutes, and I request you, whenever you file GSTR1, just after adding the data, or after uploading the Excel file, or after uploading the JSON file, please wait for 15 minutes. You might have filed the portal have shown you that the data is uploaded and data is updated on the portal. You can file the GSTR1, but I'll still request you just to wait for the 15 minutes, because we we have handled some cases where the person has filed the GSTR1, like he has just uploaded the data on JSON on the portal, or he might have added the invoice on an online tool. We are just doing through the offline mode, and he just immediately after 2 to 3 minutes he have filed the GSTR1. Okay, so the what happens that he will be shown that data is there, but once he file the GSTR1, data is not there. तो एक हमने जो केस हैंडल किया था उसमें क्या हुआ था कि किसी अकाउंटेंट ने GSTR1 फाइल की, उसमें उसने पोर्टल पे डाटा जेसन अपलोड की, एंड 2 या 4 मिनट के बाद ही उसने GSTR की फाइल जनरेट करके सबमिट कर दी. ठीक है, उसको इनवॉइस दिख रहे थे दैट ही इज एबल टू सी दैट इनवॉइस आर अपडेटेड देयर, बट एक्चुअली इट इज नॉट देयर. So he has submitted the GSTR1, and in the next month he will receive a notice from the department that you are not, your sale is not matching with the GSTR-3B, because he has reported more sale in the GSTR-3B as comparison to GSTR-1. I'm not talking about the recent time. It is I think a talk of 2022. Okay, so you need to just wait for the time guidelines as given by the department, that you need to wait for 15 minutes just to validate all the data on the portal. Only then you will be need to file the GSTR1, just to have a proper data on the portal. Okay, so now once I have uploaded and it is validated and it is showing that after 15 minutes, so once I click after 15 minutes, it will show that that processed status is now showing as process. So it means now we are ready to file the GSTR1. It is validated at the portal. Okay, so we just need to go back to the old screen. So I need to just click on the back to file return option. So once I click on that, you can see that the GSTR option one status is showing as ready to file. It means that we have given a proper time period of 15 minutes to the portal to just validate my data on a proper manner, and once it is validated there, then the status will be changed by the department, or it is automatically changed by the system of the GST department that your return is ready to file. So now once I click on that of here, we need to click on this option, and now the next screen will appear is of this type of. Okay, so you are see that there are multiple tables are there on the portal, like table 4, table 5, table 6, table 7, and then again other tables are there also. Okay, so you can see that the data is there, and even the tick mark is there, and which shows you that your data is validated. And if it is not validated, suppose you have trying to file before the 15 minutes, you can find that before that of 5 that of tick mark sign, there might be some sign of loading. Okay, dots are there, or might be a red sign which shows that there might be some error in the invoice data. Okay, so once it is a green and it is showing a tick mark sign, it means your data is properly validated. Okay, so now it means your return is properly validated. Okay, so we can move on to the filing process. So you can here find that the file nil GSTR1. If you have a nil GSTR1, then you don't need to go with that complex process of uploading the JSON or even validating for and waiting for 15 minutes. You just need to click on the file nil GSTR1. It will automatically take you to the last page of the filing of GSTR1 return. Okay, so now the return is validated. I will explain the table in the coming in the later part of this webinar. Okay, I am just going with the process of filing the GSTR1. Okay, so now our return is validated, our data is validated on the portal, and now on the next screen you can see that the summary, there is option is available of generate summary. Okay, so it means your data is there. You just need to click on that of generate summary option. Once you click on that, it will take if your return is already validated, it will not take much time. But suppose you have this will I will explain in coming slide when we go with the online mode. In the offline mode, since you have already uploaded the JSON file, it will get, once you click on that generate summary, it will automatically get updated. Okay, so now I have clicked on the generate summary option. So the next screen will option is that of it will show you the consolidated summary. Okay, so it will show you that table 4 shows you that the taxable supplies to the registered person, there are 5 invoices amounting to this value, and if there is nothing other no other value, like in the reverse charge mechanism, like if a person is supplying only and his liability is and his supplies is taxable only in reverse charge basis, then this table will be filled. And then again there is a B2CL where we issue an invoice to the unregistered person and the invoice value is more than 2.5 lakh. We will explain it later. So this is a consolidated summary. and then we can see that option is changed from generate summary to the proceed to file summary. Like here you can see a generate summary, and then the option is changes to proceed to file or summary. Okay, so this is the option. Once we click on that option, then the next screen will appear is that of this table will appear, and the option is showing at as file statement. Okay, so the option is coming as a file statement. It means your return data is validated, summary is validated, file is validated, and you are just ready to just upload the GST return directly on the portal. Okay, so once I click on that file statement, that this window will appear. Okay, so this window basically confirm the details of that person who is authorized on the portal to file the GSTR1. Okay, so we need to just select on the click on that select option, and we just need to select the person. Like in my case, I'm filing for the GST for the company, private company. Okay, so the name here appears is of the director who is authorized to file the GSTR1 return. Okay, so now I click on that, and once I click on that, then these two options of file with DSC and file with EVC will enable. You will see that in the next screen. Okay, so here the department gives you a warning message that you are about to file and would you like to proceed. If you again think some of any error or you will find anything, then you can just cancel this and go back to the old previous screen just to make sure that everything is okay there. Okay, so if is everything is okay there, and then you can proceed with the clicking on proceed option. So once you click on that proceed option, you will find this screen. Okay, why this is coming is there actually see there are two options are there: file with the digital signature and file with the electronic verification code. Okay, so these are the two options from where we can file the GST1 return. So let's just discuss with the file with EVC is basically a electronic verification code. तो ये कोड हम जनरली तब यूज करते हैं कि लाइक हमने सब डाटा बना लिया हुआ है, and now we are and the person is not having digital signature, उसके पास DSC नहीं है, तो उस केस में हम EVC की ऑप्शन को यूज करेंगे. उसमें उसको जो OTP होगा, that OTP will go to his email ID और मोबाइल नंबर. ओके, तो उसकी ईमेल आईडी और मोबाइल नंबर पे OTP जाएगा. आप किसी भी एक OTP को लगा के रिटर्न को सबमिट कर सकते हैं. देन यू विल बी एबल टू फाइल द GST रिटर्न. Okay, and suppose your client has a digital signature and it is with you, that he has given you the digital signature for other work also, then you can use the DSC option. But before using this option, you just need to update that DSC. At under this option, you will find that under profile option, you will see that there is option of update DSC. Okay, उससे पहले आपको ये DSC यहाँ पे ऑप्शन पे DSC यहाँ पे अपडेट करने हैं, तो उसके बाद आप DSC यूज कर सकते हैं. Okay, because this is a company and we are multiple directors are there, so we are not directly in link to ask them to just share me the OTP. So we will use that digital signature option. ओके, सो दो ऑप्शन से फाइल हो सकती है, डिजिटल सिग्नेचर और ईवीसी मैंने बता दिया कि आपको ओटीपी आएगा, ओटीपी लगा के आप फाइल कर सकते हो. एंड सेकंड वन इज द डिजिटल सिग्नेचर. अगर डिजिटल सिग्नेचर बने हुए हैं क्लाइंट के, तो देन यू कैन यूज दैट digital signature by updating there, and once you have updated there, you can use that digital signature till the expiry of that DSC. Like you can see that the digital signature expiry date is 30th July 2025. So I don't need to update the DSC again and again. I can use that DSC up to that period because it is already updated on the portal. So now I am using the submission option through the digital signature mode. So once I click on that file DSC, so it will be this window will appear, and I need to just click on that of this option, and then I need to just sign the return, and it will ask a password for that token. And once we added that password, then the next screen will appear is the out of this. Okay, तो अगर आपने OTP लगा दिया है, जो 6 डिजिट का OTP आएगा, या आपने DSC लगा दिया, तो उसके बाद रिटर्न आपकी सबमिट हो जाएगी. So after submission, you will find this screen on your portal. Okay, so this screen is basically an acknowledgement reference number, ARN number, which shows you that your return is submitted or successfully filed. Actually, using the words filed rather than submitted, because the submitted will not considered as a file. So you will see that your return is filed, and it will shows you the date and all that, for which period it is there, and for which return is there. So this is the last page when you will be able to see that the return is successfully filed. Okay, so now here up to here we have taken that of offline method. Okay, offline method through the government utility, using that import Excel file, or either adding the invoice on the utility option. Okay, through the manual billing or through the taking the government template of Excel utility of Excel using the latest version of 1.8. Okay, so this is up to here. We can we have concluded the offline method of filing the GSTR1 return. Okay, तो यहाँ तक हमारा GSTR1 जो भी हम ऑफलाइन यूटिलिटी गवर्नमेंट यूटिलिटी यूज करके बना रहे हैं हमने यहाँ तक वो कंप्लीट किया है. यहाँ हम सबमिट हो गई हमारी GSTR1. ओके, so I have filed this return yesterday just to make sure that you will be having a proper idea of that what are the screens appear, and at the end what you will be able to see that your return is filed or not. Now going on to the next method of prepare online, you will see that there are two methods that prepare online and offline. We have already using cleared the and seen that of offline method, and now moving on to the online method, which is a very, I have just compiled only a very few slides for that. So again, we need to click on that prepare online, or just need to click on that of GSTR1. It will automatically open the portal. Okay, so now we are entering the data directly on the GST common portal. Okay, we are not importing any Excel file, we are not importing any JSON file, we are directly entering the invoice on the portal. Okay, so this method is basically suggested when suppose you are doing a GST filing of a client which is having a very less number of invoice. आपके पास कोई छोटा क्लाइंट है जिसकी बहुत कम इनवॉइसेस है, लाइक वो महीने के 1 या 2 इनवॉइस काटता है, या मान लो 2 या 5 इनवॉइस काटता है या 10 इनवॉइस काटता है, तो it will be easy to file directly on the portal. Okay, but you need to make sure that you will file the relevant table. Okay, you need to make sure that you are able to file relevant table, because once you using the Excel file given by your accountant, generated from the accounting software, or then the data will be automatically there. You don't need to do anything that the data is in the proper tables or not. You just only need to upload the data either in the offline utility or in the offline utility. And if you are doing through the manual updating of the invoice on the common portal, then you just need to make sure that that you will add the data on every table which is relevant for that period. Okay, तो जिस भी टेबल में डाटा जाना चाहिए ऑनलाइन के मेथड में, वो आपको खुद ही ध्यान रखना है कि आपके 4A के 4 के इनवॉइस हैं, या आपके टेबल 5 के हैं, या 7 के हैं, या कोई एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस है, या क्योंकि उसमें HSN समरी भी भरी जाएगी, हो सकता है कि डॉक्यूमेंट इशूड भी भरे जाएंगे. ठीक है, तो आपको वो सेल्फ ध्यान रखना है अगर आप ऑनलाइन मेथड से फाइल कर रहे हैं. वी आर डूइंग लाइक we have some clients where they are not using any accounting software, they are just issuing the invoice on a manual bill book. So they share us the bills for a particular month through the WhatsApp mode or through the emails. We assembled that and we try to file that invoice directly on the portal rather than preparing it through the offline utility or some other method, because there are only 3 to 4 invoices in a month. Okay, so now moving on to that, these are the tables. Okay, so now just explaining the table in a very short manner. Table 4 is basically a table of outward supply made to registered person. Okay, तो टेबल 4 में वो डाटा आएगा जिसमें हमने एक रजिस्टर्ड जीएसटी पर्सन को जो बिल काटे हैं सेल्स के, वो सारे आएंगे. सो डाटा हियर इज ऑफ द दैट सेल्स इनवॉइस इशूड टू द रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन. ओके, मींस रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन मींस हु इज हैविंग अ जीएसटी नंबर. ओके, तो यहाँ पे वो डाटा आएगा टेबल 4 में. And you can see there are table 4A, 4B, 4B, 6B, 6C, and then SEZ and DE. Okay, I'm just explaining the meaning of that. 4A is basically when you issue an invoice to a registered person. Okay, a registered person means when there is no when there is reverse charge is not applicable there. Okay, so आपको जो भी इनवॉइस आपने काटे हैं सामने वाले पर्सन को, लाइक आपने किसी को माल बेचा है तो एंड वो रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है एंड ही इज नॉट डिपॉजिटिंग द टैक्स अंडर द रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म, तो उसमें टेबल 4A लगेगा. रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म मैं जस्ट ब्रीफली एक्सप्लेन कर दूं. रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म वो है जिसमें कि आपकी जो सेल्स इनवॉइस है उस पर टैक्स आप नहीं जमा कराओगे, सामने वाली पार्टी जमा कराएगी. ठीक है, आपको नहीं जमा कराना, आपको बस रिपोर्ट करना है जीएसटी पोर्टल पे. देन द टैक्स नीड्स टू बी डिपॉजिटेड बाय द रिसीविंग पार्टी, बेसिकली वेयर टैक्स नीड्स टू बी डिपॉजिटेड बाय द रिसिपिएंट. ओके, तो टेबल 4 में अब गए जो नॉर्मल हमने सेल्स के बिल काटे हैं, टेबल 4A में जाएंगे वो. एंड देन द टेबल 4B, टेबल 4B will cover those invoice where you need to enter the data of a person who is raising an invoice whose services are liable to reverse charge. I have just compiled one case. I just need to कि यहाँ पे I'm just giving you the idea of that. Suppose you are filing a return of a person who is giving a manpower supply service. I'm taking an example कि आपके पास एक ऐसा client है जो manpower supply service देता है. Like we are handling a case where a person is registered under the security guard service. He's providing the security guard to the Indian Oil, to the Power Grid Corporation, or to some other agency. तो उसका काम क्या है कि वो सिक्योरिटी गार्ड की सर्विस देता है, उनको गार्ड प्रोवाइड करता है. ओके, सो इन दिस केस ही इज कमिंग अंडर द रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म. तो उसमें क्या करना है आपको, G1 का B2B टेबल भरते वक्त आपको यहाँ पे सप्लाई अट्रैक्ट रिवर्स चार्ज पे टिक करना है. ओके, वंस यू क्लिक ऑन दैट एंड देन यू नीड टू just add that all other things, and your tax liability will be nil. You just need to enter this detail like I have entered there, that 10 lakh is his monthly billing, and then the GST is there. Okay, so reverse charge aise hoga. Okay, so 4B basically cover those supply which is attracting the reverse charge. Okay, now moving on to that 6B and basically a 6C table. It is linked with that of 6 table, which is a export invoice table. Okay, so 6B and 60, which is covering the you can say when we have a supply to the SEZ exporter. Okay, SEZ exporter be special, which are coming under the special economic zone. We will hardly find that type of invoice. It is in the general parallels we will not find this because we are not having these types of clients, because their services are totally they only export outside India. They are situated in a special type of economic zone. तो उनके वो एक अलग से जोन में है, and there will be a very less clients are there when you find this sales invoice. Okay, and then there will be a table 6C, which cover the deemed export case, and deemed export is again that a separate thing which you need to explain. डीम्ड एक्सपोर्ट कुछ ऐसी सिचुएशन है जिस केस में डीम्ड एक्सपोर्ट माना जाएगा, तो वो वाले केसेस जो अगर उनको भी कोई सेल होती है, दैट विल बी कवर्ड इन टेबल 4. ओके, so now moving on to the table number 5. Table number 5, which is basically a B2C invoice, large invoice. Okay, तो B2C क्या है basically? Table 4 is basically a B2B, a business to business, and table 5 is B2C, which is business to customer. Okay, like if I am doing a business and I am directly selling to the end user, end customer. ओके, या मैंने किसी ऐसे क्लाइंट को बेचा है जिसके पास जीएसटी नंबर नहीं है, बेसिकली हम इसको ऐसे समझते हैं. इफ आई सेल सम मटेरियल टू अ पर्सन एंड ही इज नॉट रजिस्टर्ड अंडर द जीएसटी, like if I take an example, doctors are generally not registered. Okay, so once I sold my some cosmetic product to a doctor and he's not registered under the GST, but his billing amount is more than 2.5 lakh, then we need to just give that invoice here in the B2C table. Okay, so which invoice coming there? When a person is not registered on the GST portal and we are giving them in the invoice, and the invoice value is more than 2.5 lakh. Earlier the limit was less, I think it is a 1 lakh, but we are discussing the law only with relevance to the current date. So now B2C will cover those invoice where the value is more than 2.5 lakh. So it is a large invoice. Now we will shift to table 7, which is linked to table B. Table 7 में क्या आएगा? Table 7 में B2C, others में आएंगे B2C. सेम केस है, बिजनेस टू कस्टमर में आपने कोई माल बेचा है या आपने किसी ऐसे पर्सन को माल बेचा है जो कि उसमें जीएसटी में रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है. ओके, सो उस केस में और आपने उसको जो भी माल बेचा है उसकी वैल्यू जो है वो 2.5 लाख से कम है. इन अ सिंगल इनवॉइस विल बी लेस देन द invoice value will be less than the 2.5 lakh, then that invoices will be coming here. Okay, it will be reported on a state wise. Okay, now moving on to the export invoice table, that is table 6. Okay, so the table 6 will cover the export invoice. Okay, which is export is basically a zero rated supply where tax is not chargeable. Okay, but there are some scheme then when you export with payment of IGST or without payment of IGST, like if you are doing if you are exporting through the LUT option, or if you are doing through the payment of invoice. So there are these two. We will cover this detail in 3B, because in 3B we are going to have an idea on that when this tax liability will appear and when this is not appear, and we will also cover this in the part of the refund section, because at the time of refund we will going to have a look on that of refund in case of export through the payment of IGST, which is a payment export, and the second one is the payment with the option of LUT. तो हम वहाँ पे भी ये पार्ट को कवर करेंगे, जहाँ पे एक्सपोर्ट के केस में और रिफंड के केस में, एंड आल्सो इन द केस ऑफ टेबल एट द टाइम ऑफ GSTR 3B. तो एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस में फिलहाल जो भी आपने एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस मंथली काटे होंगे, अगर आपकी कोई पार्टी ऐसी है जो मंथली एक्सपोर्ट करती है, देन वी विल नीड टू गिव दैट इनवॉइस इन द एक्सपोर्ट टेबल 6A. Okay, and that will be might be a export with payment of GST, or it is with LUT. LUT is basically a letter of undertaking which allows you to export your consignment without payment of tax. Okay, so I'm just explaining the LUT basic concept, which is a letter of undertaking where you export by giving a LUT to the letter of undertaking to the department that I am a genuine exporter and I am not doing any wrong activity, and all these type of confirmation we do while at the time of taking the LUT. Okay, so now moving on to the that table 8 basically. Okay, so the table 8 is a, you can see that the nil rated supply or the exempt supply or the on the non GST supply. So you need to give the details of the nil rated supply, because there are some supply which are not chargeable to GST, which is chargeable at a nil rate of GST. Like if you are doing the raw wool item, okay, so the raw wool is not liable to GST. It is a nil rated GST. And there are some also other items, like there are some masalas are there. Okay, so there are some flour are also there which is unpacked, unbranded. So these all are supplies at nil rated. You need to give details of that nil rated supply here. Or there might be some exempted supply or non GST supply. You will need to give data there. And it, in general balance, you will not find all these things except the nil rated. Okay, so the nil rated and zero rated is different. Zero rated is an export supply. It will cover under table A, table 6A, and the other is a nil rated, which is like raw wool item, some type of masala or some other item, like there are some gardening tool also, which is also comes under the nil rated supply. Okay, so these are covered under table 8. So now the moving on to the table 9, which is a table for credit or debit notes. So you need to give details of that. Okay, so the table 9 will cover the registered debit and credit note, which means that you are raising a credit note to a registered person who is having the GST number. Okay, अगर आपने किसी रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन को क्रेडिट नोट दिया है, ओके, तो उस केस में वो टेबल 9 में आएगा, टेबल 9B में आएगा. और अगर आपने अनरजिस्टर्ड को दिया है तो वो भी टेबल 9 में ही आएगा. ठीक है, तो दोनों तरह के क्रेडिट नोट के लिए टेबल 9 दे रखा है. एंड अगेन देन मूविंग ऑन टू द table 12. First we move on to the table 12. Okay, so the table 12 is basically a you can see that table 12 is an HSN supply table. Okay, HSN by summary of outward supply. Whatever invoice you have raised, like you have given a for outward supply to a registered person, okay, outward supply to unregistered person, outward supply to a chargeable to reverse charge, you need to give a HSN wise detail of that of table 12. Okay, so यहाँ पे आपने HSN की समरी देनी है. वही मैं आपको बोल रहा था कि अगर आप ऑनलाइन कर रहे हैं तो आपको ये भी चीज का ध्यान रखना है कि आपको HSN की डिटेल्स भी देनी है यहाँ पे. Okay, so HSN summary will be added there. You need to just select the proper HSN, which HSN is applicable in your case, and then you need to give the that if you are giving if you are supplying of goods, then you need to give the quantity also, and you need to mention the taxable value, then the GST, and then the total invoice value. Okay, and if you are doing the supply of service, then there might be that option is disabled there for the quantity part. Okay, because there is no such quantity in type of services. Okay, so the table 12 will be there. And then table 13, which is documents issued, you can give this data. Like if you have raised 10 invoice in the August month, then you need to give the invoice from this number to this number. And if you have cancelled some invoice, you can mention there also that this invoice is cancelled. You can just add on that. Or might be you have given 1 to 11 invoice, and there might be a taxable invoice of 10 in the 4 table A, so it might be indicating that one invoice is either cancelled. Okay, so document issued is there. Then table 4 is supply made through electronic commerce operator, data is there. Then supply under section 9.5, and 9.5 में भी कुछ ऐसा डाटा है जिसमें 9.5 में like you are supplying through the electronic commerce operator, and the government has mandated the e-commerce operator to file their supplies who are supplying from your portal to add that you need to report their data by yourself. So that cover under section 995 of the act. Now moving on to the table 11A and 11A2, tax liability advance received. Okay, so there might be a situation that you are receiving some type of advance from your client, but still you are not raising the invoice, or the work is not yet completed. Okay, and you might have received some invoice, you have received some advance, and you have not uh, issued the invoice. So you need to give the details of that, that you have received this much of amount, and you need to just pay the tax liability on that amount on an estimated basis, and you have not just raised the invoice. तो जब आपके पास एडवांस आ गया तो आपको वो भी यहाँ पे डिक्लेयर करना है. ये जनरली उस सिचुएशंस में होता है, लाइक यू आर डूइंग सम टाइप ऑफ construction services and you are receiving the advance from the client since the work is not yet done and you have not raised any invoice for that. So you need to just give the details of that advance received. Okay, and once you raise that supply, then you need to just mention that, adjust that invoice, adjust that advance. Okay, so there is some amendment record also. The amendment is with regard to the table 4A, 4B, and other tables are there. So that is covered under amendment record details. Okay, so now moving on to the that we are covering the prepare online option. So we have seen the table, that these are the tables. So now we are ready to file data in the online mode. Okay, so I have so once I click on table 4A, the next screen will appear of this type. Okay, तो जब हम टेबल 4 पे क्लिक करेंगे तो जो हमें नेक्स्ट स्क्रीन दिखेगी वो कुछ इस तरह की होगी. इसमें since we need to add our invoice, like I'm assuming that we have only 2 to 3 invoice just to add on the portal. So we need to click on that of add record data. Once we click on that add record, then a window will appear as this type of window will appear, which shows you to add invoice. So you just need to make sure that whether you are supplying invoice which is attracting reverse charge or it is not. If it is not, then you need to don't need to click on that. And now you need to add the GST number of the recipient. Okay, then the recipient name will automatically get populated here, and then you need to enter the invoice number which you have issued. Like if you are issued 11 number invoice, then you need to mention 11. Then the invoice date is basically a date when you have raised this invoice, and then you need to issue you need to mention a total invoice value. Total invoice value means the taxable value plus the GST amount. Okay, so there are two terms used in the GST, that is a taxable value, and then the other one is a invoice value. तो दो तरह के terms हम generally use करते हैं, taxable value और इनवॉइस वैल्यू. तो टैक्सेबल वैल्यू वो है जिस जो इज अ बेसिक टैक्स वैल्यू. लाइक आपने अगर 10,000 का कोई मटेरियल बेचा है तो 10,000 जो है वो आपकी टैक्सेबल वैल्यू है. और 10,000 पे अगर आपका जीएसटी का रेट 5% है तो उस पर जो भी जीएसटी बनेगी वो ऐड होकर जो वैल्यू बनेगी वो आपकी होगी टोटल इनवॉइस वैल्यू. ओके, सो द इनवॉइस वैल्यू टैक्सेबल वैल्यू इज क्लियर देयर. इनवॉइस वैल्यू इंक्लूड द जीएसटी अमाउंट. तो यहाँ पे आपको यू नीड टू ऐड द इनवॉइस वैल्यू हियर, and then the point of supply will be automatically selected once you add the GST number here. Okay, then the supply type is regular, it will automatically get populated. And now moving then the below part of that prepare online is that the rate is given there. You need to just give your invoice value on a correct rate table if you are filing through the online, if you are adding the invoice through online mode. So now I have added the data where the person is giving a supply of services on a 18% GST rate. Okay, so we need to mention we need to add the taxable value of as per the invoice. Then the GST will get automatically calculated by the system. You will not need to mention the you will not need to do that. It will be automatically calculated. So once you do that, then the next screen I have taken the 12 table 12, which is I am assuming that only two table is applicable to this client. One is that of he has issued two invoice to the purchaser. So in that case, the table which is generally needs to file is of that of table 4 and table 12 and table 13. Okay, तो हमें टेबल 4 हमने भर दिया है. टेबल 12 में मैंने जैसे आपको बताया कि that we need to enter the HSN details. HSN wise summary, HSN is also already there in the purchase invoice. You can find that there will be a table, there will be a column in the purchase invoice of HSN. Okay, जब आप परचेज इनवॉइस को ध्यान से देखेंगे तो वहां पे HSN का कॉलम आ रहा होगा, वहां पे HSN नंबर लिखा होगा. ओके, so you need to just add the HSN number here. Once you type it 2 or 3 digit, it will automatically give you a name of the product which is covering under HSN. You need to select on that, and the description is get automatically populated, and then you need to select the quantity type, which is what is there. Basically it is in kgs, it is in pcs, it is in numbers. Okay, it is in some other methods. There are multiple uqc is available, which is a quantity. Okay, so now we need to mention a total quantity. So if we are suppose if we have given a some type of selling in a kg or in a number of pieces, like if you have sold 10 pieces, then the option you under uqc will be pieces, and in the total quantity will be 10. Okay, then we need to again mention the taxable value, which we have already mentioned in the previous screen, the total taxable value, and then the rate under which we are charging the gst, like it is there in the invoice also. So like if it is doing 18%, then we need to select on 18%, and then we need to enter manual data here. It will not get auto populated in the hsn table. You need to mention whether you are supplying interstate supply. So let me just clear one more thing, that when you sold the goods to within your state, okay, it will be a intra state supply. Okay, जब आप माल अपनी स्टेट के अंदर ही बेच रहे हैं तो उसे हम बोलते हैं इंट्रा स्टेट सप्लाई. ओके, तो उस केस में सीजीएसटी और एसजीएसटी लगता है. ठीक है, अगर आप सेल माल बेच रहे हैं या सर्विस दे रहे हैं अपने ही स्टेट के अंदर, लाइक अगर आप महाराष्ट्र में हैं और आप महाराष्ट्र के अंदर ही माल बेच रहे हैं, तो जो जो टैक्स चार्जेबल होगा वो सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी होगा. ठीक है, and if you are selling the goods outside the state of Maharashtra, then you need to that supply will be a interstate supply, and the IGST will be chargeable. Okay, तो जब आप स्टेट से बाहर माल बेचेंगे तो उसे इंटरस्टेट सप्लाई बोलते हैं और उस पे आईजीएसटी चार्ज होगा. ओके, सो नाउ वी नीड टू ऐड this taxes manually. Either if we are supplying within the same state, then we need to add CGST SGST on an equal ratio. Like if the rate of GST is 18%, then we need to add 9% CGST and 9% SGST. Okay, and if you are doing if you are supplying supplying goods outside our state, then we need to enter whole tax in the IGST table, and then other tables will be 0. Okay, so once I have added all this data, then again the same screen will appear, which we have already discussed in the offline mode. That this screen will appear. Okay, then we need to just select, and then we were given a warning signal whether you are ready to file. And then once we file through the EBC or through the DSC mode, whatever we are choosing to file, then we will be able to file that return. So I have not compiled again the same slide here. Okay, so now that part of preparing the online return is clear here. Okay, so online में हमें तभी fruitful होगा जब भी हमारे पास invoice number of invoice कम है. Okay, so if there are multiple invoices, or you can say the data is large, you generally prefer for offline utility. Or if you are using some type of software, you can do that from also. The software will generate some type of JSON directly, or it will even in the many software, the data will be automatically saved on the portal. You just need to click on that Excel file and validate the data in your software, and the just software, and then the software will automatically save the data on the portal. तो ऐसे सॉफ्टवेयर हैं जिसमें आप जैसे ही एक्सेल की फाइल इंपोर्ट करते हैं तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली सारा डाटा जो है वो पोर्टल पे सेव कर देता है. आपको अलग से कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. ओके, सो हमने इसलिए किया है क्योंकि हम दोनों मेथड्स को एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि ऑफलाइन में कैसे होगा और ऑनलाइन में कैसे होगा. Okay, so now the second thing we have discussed GSTR-1, okay, which is a monthly return on through the offline mode and online mode. Now we are going to see the IFF. Okay, yesterday one person has also raised one query regarding the IFF, so I will going to cover that also. So IFF basically is an invoice furnishing facility. I have already explained you why this have introduced, just to provide the benefit of tax credit to the purchaser, so that he will not be in a situation to pay the tax once, 2 times, one from buying a product from you, and the second time at the time of filing GSTR-3B and paying the tax from his own pocket. ठीक है, तो ये ना हो कि उसे IFF जो परचेज कर रहा है, आपने क्वार्टरली ऑप्शन चूज किए या उसने आपसे माल खरीद लिया, एक तो आपने उसने आपको टैक्स भी जमा करा दिया आपसे परचेज करते वक्त, और क्योंकि आप आईएफएफ नहीं भर रहे हो या आपको पता ही नहीं है कि आईएफएफ क्यों भरनी है, और उसको तो आईटीसी बोलेगा ना 2B में, तो उसको अगेन you need to again deposit the tax again at the time of filing GST-3B. So I request you, if you are handling the cases of KORMP parties, then try to file their invoice before the 13th of each month. ठीक है, तो उस केस में आप कोशिश करिए कि आप फाइल करिए, अपने क्लाइंट को समझाइए कि सर आपको आईएफएफ भरनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर सामने वाली पार्टी को क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा तो डेफिनेटली ही विल नॉट वर्क विद यू। अगर मैं आपको भी टैक्स दे रहा हूँ और मैं जीएसटी रिटर्न भरते वक्त फिर दोबारा टैक्स जमा करा रहा हूँ, तो मैं आपसे क्यों काम करूंगा? इफ आई एम हैविंग अ सफिशिएंट अमाउंट इन माय क्रेडिट लेजर, देन आई विल डू दैट, बट स्टिल इट इज माय मनी, व्हाई आई विल पे double amount, one to you and then other to the government department. So try to guide your clients, sir. Try to file the IFF before the due date. You will charge high fees for that if you are taking a lesser fees due to the QRMP scheme. You advise your clients, sir, that we need to mention the invoice on a monthly basis. Either you are opting for the quarterly scheme, still you need to give the data of invoice, because only then the person will be able to credit. तो आपको उनको समझाना पड़ेगा कि सर अगर हम आईएफएफ में इंफॉर्मेशन अपनी इनवॉइस की डिटेल नहीं देंगे तो सामने वाले को इनपुट नहीं मिलेगा, और लेटर ऑन में भी जब वो अपनी 3B बनाएंगे तो वो हो सकता है कि वो ऑब्जेक्ट करेंगे कि आपने टैक्स क्यों नहीं जमा कराया या आपने इनवॉइस क्यों नहीं रिपोर्ट की। ओके, and moreover in the KORMP scheme also the government has mandated for the tax deposit on a monthly basis. ओके, तो वहां भी ये नहीं है कि अगर आपने क्वार्टरली चूज कर लिया तो उसके में आपको जो है वो आपको जमा कराने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। ठीक है, तो उसमें भी आपको अगर KORMP भी ले रखी है, ठीक है, आपको GSTR-3B, you need to file GSTR-3B at the end of the quarter, after the end of the quarter of 20th month, but still you need to deposit the tax on a monthly basis. ठीक है, तो जब अगर आप अपना टैक्स जमा करा ही रहे हैं तो फिर आपको IFF भी भरनी चाहिए। Many of person might you also not aware that in case of KORMP you need to deposit tax on a monthly basis. So try to guide your clients, see we have taken up the KORMP scheme. गवर्नमेंट ने हमें ये KORMP इसलिए दिया है कि हमें बर्डन सम ना लगे कि हमने हर मंथ में GSTR-1 भेजनी है, हमने हर मंथ में 3B भेजनी है। गवर्नमेंट ने आपको ऑप्शन दे दी कि आप 3B 3 महीने के बाद भर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट यू ट्राई टू file the invoice on a monthly basis and try to deposit the tax before the 25th of the next month. तो अगर आपने अगस्त में कोई इनवॉइस काटे हैं और उस पर आपकी जीएसटी की लायबिलिटी बन रही है तो आप 25 से पहले जमा करवा दो, मतलब 25 सितंबर से पहले। अगर हम नहीं कराएंगे then you will find that not now but at the time of assessment the assessing officer might give you a notice of interest liability. तो आप अपने क्लाइंट को समझाइए कि सर अपने को ये फाइल करना चाहिए and we need to file that. Okay, so now once we click on that IFF, we have this table on the screen. You can see that only a very limited tables are there. Like if we are filing the GSTR-1, you can see that there are multiple tables are there. Okay, but in case of IFF, you will see that only 3 tables under the add record and 3 tables under the amendment records are there. Okay, so the table 4 is there, table 9 is there, and table 15 is there. Table 15 is not relevant to us. It is with regard to the electronic commerce operator. There are some supplier who is doing the business from the electronic commerce operator and their supplies are liable to be filed by the electronic commerce operator. So we are not going into the table 15. Okay, so we restrict ourselves to table 4 and table 9. So table 4 में हमें पता है कि क्या रहता है, जो भी that whatever sale we have done in the previous month, we need to report it either to the either on a normal basis or on a reverse charge basis. We need to declare that. बिकॉज जब तक हम यहाँ पे डिक्लेयर नहीं करेंगे, अगर मान लो आप रिवर्स चार्ज में सप्लाई दे रहे हो, आप इसमें रिपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, सामने वाला टैक्स कब जमा कराएगा? वंस यू रिपोर्ट दैट देन इट विल ऑटोमेटिकली रिफ्लेक्टेड इन देयर 2B. ओके, सो टेबल 4 में हमें वो डाटा डालना है, टेबल 4 में डाटा डालने के बाद ही 2B में रिफ्लेक्ट होगा, एंड टेबल 9 अगेन वी नीड टू गिव द डाटा ऑफ द क्रेडिट और डेबिट नोट्स टू द रजिस्टर्ड पार्टी. बिकॉज रजिस्टर्ड क्यों यहाँ पे वर्ड यूज हो रहा है रजिस्टर्ड या टेबल 4 में हम क्यों बात कर रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे रजिस्टर्ड सप्लाईज जानी है? देखो यहाँ पे टेबल B2C वाला टेबल नहीं आ रहा, इसीलिए क्योंकि उन्होंने लोगों ने ही इनपुट लेना है, दैट दोज आर द पर्सन हु आर गोइंग टू टेक द क्रेडिट एट द टाइम ऑफ फाइलिंग देयर 3B. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने ही इसका इनपुट लेना है, बिकॉज KORMP के केस में या KORMP के केस में तो उन्होंने जो कैलकुलेशन है वो जाके करनी है बाद में. ठीक है, तो अगर आप एटलीस्ट ये कर रहे हैं तो एटलीस्ट आपको क्योंकि KORMP जो अनरजिस्टर्ड है उनको कोई ITC तो मिलना ही नहीं है, तो यहाँ पे उनका डाटा देने का कोई भी रेलिवेंस बनता नहीं है. सो गवर्नमेंट हैज enabled only the table which is relevant for the purpose of taking the ITC. तो ये दो टेबल हैं, then you need to give the data in these tables the table 4 and table 9. And again, if there is any amendment in these tables, like you have mentioned some wrong invoice number, wrong invoice value, wrong GST number, or anything else, or wrong GST rate, then you need to just amend this record. You will click on that amendment, then you will be asked for the which financial year and the which invoice. तो जब आप अमेंडमेंट पे क्लिक करेंगे तो वहां से वो आपसे पूछेगा कि किस साल की अमेंडमेंट है, कौन से पीरियड की अमेंडमेंट है और किस चीज की अमेंडमेंट करनी है. तो जो भी आपने अमेंडमेंट करनी है, यू विल बी गिवन ऑप्शन like if I show you a screen, like if you are seeing this screen, then there will be a each of these head will be in a double manner. Like GST will be in a two manner, old earlier submitted and the correct one, invoice number earlier submitted and the correct one, invoice date earlier submitted and the correct one, invoice value, and all these things are again in this similar manner. Okay, so amendment में ये चीजें हो जाएंगी. So IFF is basically only for the purpose of reporting the that invoice issued to the registered person or credit or debit note issued to the registered person. Okay, so you can see that there is no HSN table, there is no document issue table. These all table will be available at the end of the quarter month. ठीक है, तो ये अगर आप सितंबर क्वार्टर में अभी खड़े हैं तो अगस्त में नहीं आ रहा. जब आप सितंबर क्वार्टर की रिटर्न भरेंगे, then you can see that the table, all tables are there. You need to just give the full data there only with regard to the HSN other detail. जो 4 टेबल 4 में आप जो जुलाई और अगस्त में डाटा दे चुके हैं, आपको दोबारा सितंबर की रिटर्न भरते वक्त देने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू ओनली नीड टू गिव द इनवॉइसेस फॉर द मंथ ऑफ सितंबर एट द टाइम ऑफ फाइलिंग द GSTR-1 ऑफ क्वार्टर एंडेड सितंबर 2024. तो आपको जब आप KYRMP स्कीम में है और आपको जब सितंबर क्वार्टर की GSTR-1 भरनी है अंडर द क्वार्टरली ऑप्शन, तो आपको जुलाई और अगस्त में जो आप इनवॉइस दे चुके हैं आपको दोबारा देने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको सिर्फ सितंबर के इनवॉइस देने हैं. लेकिन HSN समरी में और डॉक्यूमेंट इशूड में आपको सारे ही देने हैं. मेक श्योर दैट, बिकॉज IFF में HSN और उसकी टेबल नहीं है, तो इट मीन्स आपको क्वार्टरली में टोटल डाटा देना है. I hope this is clear to everyone with regard to the IFF. What is the reason behind that? Why the government has implemented this? Okay, and there are when to choose this, there are some option when you can choose that of KYRMP scheme. Okay, आपको आप ये कब चूज कर सकते हो, मैंने आप बताया कि once you have chosen this option, it will be available for all future period till the time you manually change it. Okay, ये क्वार्टरली ऑप्शन आप एक बार आपने चूज कर ली तो ये हमेशा रहेगी, ये चेंज नहीं होगी जब तक कि आप उसको खुद चेंज नहीं कर देते. ठीक है, लाइक अगर आपने 2 क्वार्टर में क्वार्टरली ले रखा है और अब आपकी टर्नओवर जो है वो एक्सीड कर गई है मोर देन 5 करोड़, तो उस केस में आपको मंथली मोड पे शिफ्ट होना है. ठीक है, तो उस केस में आपको मैनुअली चेंज करना पड़ेगा. लेकिन अगर वो आप नहीं है तो फिर आपको उसी में ही क्वार्टरली में ही रहेगा, वो मैनुअली चेंज नहीं होगा. ठीक है, उसको चूज करने के लिए ऑप्शन पोर्टल पे ऑप्शन अवेलेबल है व्हेन टू चूज द क्वार्टरली ऑप्शन. उसमें कुछ टाइम पीरियड होता है कि इस डेट से लेके आपको इस डेट के पहले चूज करना है, तो आप वो चूज कर सकते हैं. उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, उसमें एक टाइम पीरियड सेट है जब आप चूज कर सकते हैं. Okay, so up to this we have covered the GSTR-1 filing with regard to the offline method, online method, with regard to the Excel utility, with regard to the template, with regard to the IFF filing, with regard to the tables. We are covering only the basic part, since it is a very vast topic, and if we go with the only table portion, it will take lots of time. So we are just covering the basics, so that if you are having any client for filing the GSTR-1 return, you will be able to file that. Okay. We will take query at the end. Okay, so now moving on to the GSTR-2B. Okay, so 2B we will also cover at the time of GSTR-3B webinar, which is in the next Saturday. Okay, because it is more linked with the 3B rather than GSTR-1. Okay, so 2B, what's 2B basically, and why it is very much relevant for everyone who is doing who is registered under the GST. Why it is relevant? GSTR-2B is basically a ITC स्टेटमेंट. ओके, ये एक ITC स्टेटमेंट है जिसमें कि हमने जो भी हमने परचेज की है, उसमें हम जो भी टैक्स पे करके आए हैं वो हमें 2B में दिखता है कि हाँ ये ITC आपको अवेलेबल है. Like I have explained in the first slide that GST Act remove the cascading effect. Okay, it means whatever you have paid for the in the earlier stages, you will be able to claim that at the time of paying your output tax liability. ओके तो जब भी हम कोई माल बेचते हैं उस पर जो भी टैक्स लायबिलिटी बनती है उसको पे करने के लिए हमने जो माल पीछे से खरीद के आए हैं उस पर जो भी टैक्स पे किया दैट वी विल यूज दैट टैक्स पेड while paying our tax liability. So that's why ITC is very much relevant for a taxable person under GST. Okay, so that GSTR-2B will include data of the purchases. तो GSTR-2B में डाटा कहाँ से आता है? That GSTR-2B have got the data from the GSTR-1. GSTR-1 जब हमने अपनी सेल्स की इनवॉइस फाइल की, हम सब ने अपनी सेल्स की रिटर्न फाइल की, तो उसमें क्या होगा कि जिस पर्सन का आपने जीएसटी नंबर डाला है वो उसके पर्सन के 2B में वो सेल्स का वो परचेज दिखेगी. ठीक है, like if I take an example, like if I have filed GSTR-1 by taking a single GST number of a person, okay, then when that person file his or check his GSTR-2B, then he will see that whatever he has purchased from that dealer, it will be showing in their GST-2B statement. Okay, so this is a auto drafted statement. जब वो person GSTR-1 अपनी फाइल करेगा तो वो 2B में ऑटोमेटिकली रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएगी. Okay. So this is the concept basically. When you file GSTR-1, then it whoever GST is there, it will reflect to their GSTR-2B. ठीक है, तो that you can see that option screen GSTR-2B. GSTR-2 is also there, but it's not relevant nowadays. The GST department will see to GSTR-2B because in section 16 of that is of ITC, government has mandated for the claiming of ITC only on the basis of the data coming into the GSTR-2B. Okay, so now moving on to the next screen. Once you click on that offline table, now see you need to your client has given you the data of purchase. Sir, these are my purchase bill. Supposing he's a very small client and he gives you, sir, I have purchased these five purchase invoices there, and he shares you the purchase invoice. Now you just need to match those purchase invoice with the portal data. उसने आपको इनवॉइस दे दी है कि सर मैंने ये परचेज किया, आप इसका आईटीसी क्लेम कर लो, तो आपको वो एक बार 2B से मैच करना है कि वो 2B में आ भी रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है. मे बी हो सकता है उसने भी जिससे खरीदे हो वो भी क्वार्टरली स्कीम में और उन्होंने भी अभी तक नहीं भरी हो IFF, तो वो हो सकता है कि उस केस में आप वो क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. सो हाउ यू नीड टू मैच द डाटा, बिकॉज यू इन दैट केस यू नीड टू डाउनलोड द GSTR-2B. Okay, so there are two options for downloading. One is to download in Excel file and then the second one is to download in a JSON file. Okay, तो आपको ये GSTR-3B फाइल करने से पहले एक बार 2B का सारा डाटा मैच करना है. ठीक है, 2B में आपके कितने परचेज आ रहे हैं, क्लाइंट ने आपको कितनी परचेज दी है, और अगर आप जो भी जिस भी क्लाइंट का कर रहे हैं इज यूजिंग एनी टाइप ऑफ अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर, देन द अकाउंटेंट माइट गिव यू अ परचेज रजिस्टर where you can find that the purchase invoice during a month. In case of a large supplier, अगर आपका बड़ा client है तो you can ask for the purchase register and you can match the data with the GSTR-2B. So how you can download the GSTR-2B in Excel mode or JSON file? So moving on to the first option of Excel, once you download that Excel file, it will be appear in this way. Okay, so I have just downloaded one data of GSTR-2B. Okay, so now you can see that this is a summary table of GSTR-2B Excel file. You can see that there are you have already seen all these data. I am just explaining you the things that. तो अभी ये GSTR-2B का एक एक्सेल फॉर्मेट है. इसमें आप देख सकते हैं कि इसमें B2B में कितने इनवॉइस आ रहे हैं, ISD में क्या आ रहा है, इनवर्ट सप्लाई रिवर्स चार्ज में कोई आ रही है एंट्री की नहीं आ रही है, इंपोर्ट ऑफ गुड्स में नहीं आ रही. तो ये एक समरी टेबल है. सो वट एवर यू हैव परचेज्ड from a client, it will reflected here in the form of whatever taxes you have paid. So these are coming here, and in the next slide you can see the data of import of goods, like that you have imported some machinery from outside India, or you have imported some material outside India. So once you have imported that material, then at the time of importing in India, at the time of custom, you pay the IGST amount, and that will be reflected there through the bill of entry data. ठीक है, जब आप बाहर से कोई माल मंगाते हैं तो एट द टाइम जब पोर्ट पे क्लियरेंस होती है कस्टम पोर्ट पे, तो वहां पे बिल ऑफ एंट्री एक डॉक्यूमेंट बनता है. बिल ऑफ एंट्री के टाइम पे वो आपसे जीएसटी जमा करवाते हैं, तो वो जीएसटी यहाँ पे रिफ्लेक्ट होगी जब वहां पे बिल ऑफ एंट्री पंच हो जाएगी. तो यू नीड टू जस्ट क्रॉस चेक द डाटा. वी फाइंड दैट इन जनरल केसेस in many of the cases that that import data is not reflecting there. So you need to just have a conversation with your CHA, custom house agent, or some other person who is dealing your import of goods business. Then you need to just check that whether it is available there or not. Okay. So this is the 2B offline Excel download. And there are some other options there. You can see ITC not available. Okay, ITC not available is there. B2B means B2B supplies are all there. B2B amendment, B2B credit note, B2B credit note, registered, unregistered, then the electronic commerce. These all data are there. You can just download the data and you can just cross check with your purchase data so that everything is there in the 2B. Because in the later on, once you file the ITR and they, when the department raised you a notice that this is the ITC you have claimed at the time of filing the 3B, and this is the data which is available in the 2B, then you might be raised a demand notice by the department by DRC 01 that you need to deposit this tax with interest. तो आपको ये मेक श्योर करना है कि 2B में जो भी डाटा आ रहा है आपको वही इनपुट लेना है. आपको अपने क्लाइंट को बताना पड़ेगा कि सर आपने इतनी तो परचेज की है बट 2B में इन्हीं लोगों ने डाटा चढ़ाया है, तो सर ये जो इनवॉइस हैं जो हम क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. But still, if your client insists you that you claim that, then you can inform him that sir you are liable to have a demand and as well as interest also. So you will be facing these consequences. Okay, first try to guide him, and if he is not able to understand, then you can opt for that and informing the that consequences of claiming the ITC which is not there in the 2B. So there is two options. Once we click on the download, then their download option will be in Excel and in JSON. And then the second one is view. When we click on that view option, then that the online that the GST portal will show you the online data. So before going on to the JSON, I will show you the online data. So now once you click on that online view, then this table will appear. You will find the same data here, which we just seen in the table, that Excel file 4A5. So these are the table basically of 3B. So I will link that at the time of explaining you the GSTR 3B session. Okay, so now you can see that the ITC available, which is all other ITC from the registered person, you can say data is there. Okay, and all other ITC through import of goods, through inward supply liable to reverse charge, which is basically you need to here mention if you are taking some type of transport service, and in that case you need to pay the RCM. Okay, then you need to claim that RCM here. So this is ITC available, and this is ITC not available, which is not there, which is not available to you. Like if the place of supply is different from yours, then you will not be able to claim that that ITC. Okay, so these are the some of the cases. Now you can see with regard to the summary, there are all tables are there. So you can also see the data supplier wise as well as document wise. I have deleted the GST number from here for the security reasons. Okay, so you can see that these are the parties who have supplied you the information. So you will be able to directly match the data with your purchase invoice. Like I'm saying that if your client is small and he is having only 10 purchase invoice, you can directly match this data from this table. अगर आपके क्लाइंट के पास सिर्फ 2-4 इनवॉइस ही हैं, तो आप 2B का ये ऑनलाइन मेथड खोल के यहाँ से डायरेक्टली मैच भी कर सकते हैं कि हाँ ये 2 इनवॉइस हैं, दोनों पोर्टल पे आ रहे हैं, वैल्यूज ठीक है, ओके, सो इट इज मींस योर 2B इज परफेक्टली राइट. सो यू कैन डू दैट. सो दिस इज अवेलेबल ऑन अ सप्लायर वाइज एंड आल्सो ऑन अ इनवॉइस वाइज. तो आप दोनों मेथड से दे सकते हैं, इनवॉइस वाइज से भी और जो है और सप्लायर वाइज से भी. इसमें सप्लायर वाइज में इनवॉइस नंबर नहीं आते, but if you do with the document detail, then you will find the invoice number. So you can also match your invoice number with the portal data. Okay, so it will be a very helpful. And in the last in the earlier parts of this tables, there is also mentioning of whether the ITC is available or not. So they will also tell you that whether it is available or not. So please check that also whether it is available to you or it is restricted or some type of sometimes the number is cancelled and still he is issuing the invoice. So might be there is remarks is that number is cancelled, or you can find that the place of supply is different that of supplier. So in that case ITC is not available. Okay, so I have told you that there are two options to download the 2B. One is through the Excel mode and second one is through the JSON mode. So for need to download the JSON, you need to have a software. So you have a utility. So what is that utility? Once you go to again that download file, डाउनलोड ऑप्शन ऑन द जीएसटी कॉमन पोर्टल, तो आपको देखेंगे कि वहां पे एक टूल अवेलेबल है जिससे कि मैचिंग ऑफलाइन टूल बोलते हैं. ओके, मैचिंग ऑफलाइन टूल. So once you click on that matching offline tool, you will be able to download a software, basically utility. And once you extract that utility and you open that utility, then this window will appear. This is the utility for seeing the data of GSTR-2B. Okay, you just need to first create a profile. While going to the manage profile, you will need to enter the basic detail of the supplier, like the GST number, the name of the supplier. Okay, once you do that, then the profile will be created and you will be able to just add the GST number, trade name, financial year, and the tax period. And then when you proceed, then you will be able to have a software, next screen of the software, where you can just upload the JSON file downloaded from the portal through this option. Okay, so you have downloaded the JSON file from this option, then you need to import that JSON file into the software, and then you will be able to see the screen again in the offline utility also. So these are the three options available where we can match our purchase data with that of the portal data. So to make sure that we will not be facing any type of consequences of non-accessed claiming of ITC or non depositing of proper tax. तो हमें 2B से मैचिंग इसलिए ही जरूरी है क्योंकि हमें अपना जो आईटीसी लेना है वो करेक्टली लेना है, और जो 2B में जो डाटा रिफ्लेक्ट होगा, दैट द डेडलाइन टू दैट द डाटा व्हिच विल बी अवेलेबल इन 2B इज जनरली ऑन द 14th ऑफ नेक्स्ट मंथ. क्योंकि 11 को आप GSTR-1 भरेंगे, 13 को आप IFF भरेंगे, तो जनरली 14 को ये डाटा आ जाता है 2B में. ओके, तो 3B की जो ड्यू डेट है वो मंथली के केस में 20 सितंबर है, 20 तारीख होती है, और कुछ स्टेट्स में 22 हैं, 24 भी हैं. ठीक है, और अगर आप क्वार्टरली वाले में हैं और आपको, क्योंकि मैंने बताया कि टैक्स आपको मंथली भरना है, तो उस केस में जो ड्यू डेट है टैक्स जमा कराने की वो 25 है. सो यू हैव अ सफिशिएंट टाइम टू मैच योर परचेज रजिस्टर, परचेज डाटा बेसिकली with that of data available on the 2B, just to make sure that you will not be facing any type of consequences for claiming the excess ITC or wrong ITC. ठीक है, तो जो भी इनवॉइस आपके पास पोर्टल पे होंगे तो आपको वही लेने हैं. मे बी यू विल फाइंड अ सिचुएशन वेयर यू आर having a large number of invoices, but on the GST2B there are some invoices are missing. So you can just check on the GST number of their on the department portal, which I have told you. Just need to go to the GST portal. Okay, and you have this option of that search taxpayer. Okay, then you need to just mention that GST number. Okay, once you do that, then you will be able to see that your supplier is monthly or quarterly. If you find that he's a quarterly supplier, then you can have an idea that he's not filing the IFF, and that's why his bills are not showing on the portal. ओके, तो उसमें आपको पता चल जाएगा कि आपका जो सप्लायर है जिससे आपने माल खरीदा है वो क्वार्टरली QRMP स्कीम ऑप्ट की हुई है, इसलिए उसने IFF में बिल नहीं रेज किए. तो उस केस में आप उसको या तो फोन करके बोल सकते हो कि सर आप अपनी IFF भरिए, और अगर आपका कोई मंथली सप्लायर है, इफ देयर इज एनी मंथली सप्लायर एंड ही हैज नॉट filed the GSTR-1, then you can also contact with him. Sir, you have not filed the GSTR-1, why we need to pay your tax? We have already paid tax to you, and why you have not paid the file the GSTR-1? तो आप उससे बात कर सकते हो कि सर ये आपने फाइल नहीं किया तो हमें अपना जेब से टैक्स जमा कराना पड़ेगा. वी विल नॉट do this in the coming days, so you need to make sure that you will file your GSTR-1 on a timely basis, so that we will be able to take credit of the 2B. Okay, and one more thing, there may be a situation that आपके पास ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आपने कोई परचेज के इनवॉइस ऐसे 2B में आ रहे हैं जो आपके है ही नहीं. Okay, you will also find a situation where you will see that there are some invoices on the portal which is not belongs to you, or which is actually not purchased by you. Okay, so I will suggest you that don't claim that ITC. People generally claim that let's see what happened in the coming period of returns. Okay, अगर आपका कोई इनवॉइस नहीं है और आपके GST पोर्टल पे आ रहा है तो आप उसे क्लेम मत करिए. You don't need to claim that, because the person might amend the invoice in the coming GSTR-1, then you will be able to deposit the tax with interest. ओके, तो अगर आपका कोई इनवॉइस नहीं है और आपके परचेज बुक में नहीं आ रहा है बट पोर्टल पे आ रहा है, तो उस केस में आप उसको नहीं क्लेम करिए। मे बी देयर इज अ एरर फ्रॉम द परचेजर, एरर फ्रॉम द पर्सन हु हैज फाइल्ड द GSTR1 बाय एंटरिंग द रॉन्ग GSTN। ओके, हो सकता है कि उसने रॉन्गली आपका GSTN डाल दिया और आपको इनपुट यहाँ पे शो कर रहा है, तो आपको वो नहीं लेना है। ठीक है, आपको अपने क्लाइंट को बताना है कि सर ये हमारा लीगली नहीं है, अगर हम ले लेते हैं तो अगर बाद में एसएससी ने अपना रिटर्न रिवाइज की तो आपको जमा कराना पड़ेगा। एंड मोर ओवर you will not be able to have a matching concept. Okay, your purchase as per books of account will be less than the purchase as per the GSTR-2B. So at the time of filing of GSTR-99C, you will also face a situation when there might be a demand from that the person who filed your GSTR-9, when he reconciles the data with the 3B and books of account, he will see that you have claimed some GSTR claim ITC which is more than that, because there might be a case that before the due date of filing the GSTR-9, the person who has given you that wrongly entered the purchase number might have changed the invoice in the portal, amended the invoice. तो ये हो सकता है कि जब तक 9 का पीरियड आए, जिसने आपका wrongly एंटर कर दिया था GST नंबर, वो अपनी इनवॉइस अमेंड कर देगा और आपने क्लेम करके बैठे होंगे, तो फिर आपको 9 के वक्त पे या अगर जब डिपार्टमेंट असेसमेंट करेगा तो आपको विद इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी जमा कराना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ये उसकी डेफिनेशन में आता है कि आपने ये रॉन्गली ITC क्लेम किया, ये आपका नहीं था। क्योंकि इफ आई एक्सप्लेन यू दी हम ITC कैसे ले सकते हैं या कब ले सकते हैं, व्हेन वी हैव द वैलिड इनवॉइस, जब हमारे पास प्रॉपर इनवॉइस है, हमने 3B में उसका टैक्स भर दिया हुआ है, ठीक है, तो वो एक्चुअल इनवॉइस जो है हमारे नाम पर है, हमने एक्चुअल गुड्स जो है वो परचेज किए हैं, तो उस केस में हम उसका GST क्रेडिट ले सकते हैं। तो इन इफ दिस इज अ सिचुएशन, सिंस इनवॉइस इज नॉट बिलोंग्स टू यू, you have not actually purchased the material, invoice has not been in your name, so you are in a situation of claiming the ITC in a fraudulent manner, क्योंकि इनवॉइस आपके नाम पर नहीं था, आपने माल खरीदा ही नहीं था, बट आपने फिर भी ITC ले लिया, तो वो उसे फ्रॉड में ट्रीट करेंगे। तो उस केस में आपको जो इंटरेस्ट का बर्डन भी है वो भी ज़्यादा होगा, इट विल बी अराउंड 1.5% पर मंथ इफ देयर इज नो चेंज इन दैट। ओके, तो जो भी इंटरेस्ट होगा, पेनल्टी होगी, टैक्स पेबल होगा, वो सब आपसे वसूलेंगे। So try to guide your client to not claim any wrong ITC. Okay, so this is the 2B part. Okay, now there is one thing, one more thing I would like to say. Like, see, there are some penalties for non-filing of GSTR returns. Okay, generally people aware that when we don't file our GSTR 3B or 99C on a time, then the department will charge penalty. Okay, and also there this is right, department, once you late file your GST 3B, okay, in the previous month, then in the coming month, that in the same month it will not be added to your tax liability, but in the next return, that GST late filing fee will be added to your GST liability in that month of in the coming month of GSTR 3B. अगर आपने लास्ट मंथ को रिटर्न लेट भरी है तो आपके 3B में ऐड हो जाती है अगले साल 3B में, ठीक है। बट द प्रोविजन इज दैट GSTR1 is also there in the provisions of I think section 47, where they have mentioned that if you filed your GSTR1 late, okay, अगर आप अपनी GSTR1 भी लेट फाइल करते हैं, then there will also be a late filing fees. Okay, if it is a nil, then there is a liability of 20 per day, which is 10 per day, 10 under CGST and 10 under IGST. And if you are having a non-nil return, and if you are having a turnover is less than 1.5 crore in the previous year, then there will be a liability of 50 per day. And if it is and the maximum cap they have recently changed to a 2,000 rupees. Okay, if your turnover is less than 1.5 crore, and but it is more than 1.5 crore but less than 5 crore, then they have remained or that 50 per day, but they have exceeded the maximum amount till 5,000. Okay, and if you are having a turnover of more than 5 crore, then there will be a per day liability is same again 50 rupees per day, which is 25 under CGST GST, but the maximum liability will be 10,000. So see, the provision is there for late filing of GSTR1 also, but system is yet to charge this penalty. Law is clear, they have entered this provision in the law, but still the system is not charging, and the department is not asking you for the late fees of GSTR1. Okay, they have charging for 3B, they have charging for GSTR9, but they are not charging for GSTR1, but provision is there. Okay, so I think today's topic is clear. I hope everyone is clear with regard to that of GSTR1 offline online method and the GSTR2B. We will cover also that in the 3B slides also.